No, it's not set up to a service.
Now we're starting recording.
Very nice.
Okay, how are we starting? Is there an intro? Is there an
2 o'clock. Ooh. I don't know.
Just have a seat.
I'm just spearheading this thing, man.
So welcome to the first podcast that we got going today. We have Andy here with us. Andy Sheridan. We got Spencer Williams. And we got Devin Savage. And myself, Jay Frankfurt.
DJ the Frankfurt. It's like the city in Germany.
Frankfurter.
Right?
It's more like the hot dog. So, Spencer, you're kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? You're pioneering our podcasts here. So why don't you share with us some of your purposes that you want to do with the podcast and what your kind of vision is going forward with this?
Yeah. So with the podcast going forward, kind of my vision, my goal, my action is it's more so for the brand and for all of us individually, right? We can all speak on the podcast. We can share our experiences. We can share what we're doing. We can share what we're looking to do in the future, and kind of get ourselves out there for the personal branding aspect of business, of just our lives, if that's interesting to you. If not, then it can be a cool space to just hang out with the team, discuss some things going on, and more so build relationships among each other, and just be out there, show that you are a part of Blackcard.
Document the grind, document the life, the progress, right?
Exactly, and then from the brand's point of view, also just show the world what Blackcard is, like who our team is, what we do, what we're about, how we like to take action, and the type of action we take during our days, or even during our lives, or even just how we interact with each other, and what our brand is made of through people getting to watch us talk, or people getting to hear about our experiences, or people getting to hear about our thoughts here while we're working, while we're hanging out, So
it'll be nice to kind of. I like the fact that we're actually starting it kind of raw, because this way it doesn't feel like some sort of marketing ploy, or that you know what I mean. It's like it's just the real thing. Mm-hmm. It's just us hanging out, talking about
figuring it out one step at a time. Right?
Yeah, it's really just a window for somebody to kind of look into the office and like see what we do behind the scenes. More so, obviously, we don't share everything that we can, because some things are like my personal finances that maybe I don't want on the internet, et cetera, et cetera. But it's good for everybody else who wants to get an idea of kind of what we do and what we're like in real life, right?
Yeah.
So, Spencer, why don't we start off with you? Tell us when you came to Blackcard and what your journey's been like thus far.
Yeah. So I didn't come to Blackcard University too long ago. I came a couple weeks ago.
Speak a little louder for now. You've got blenders in the background.
Shit, yeah. Who's cooking, man? Who's cooking? Go deal with them. Savage. Send the Savage after him, man. Send the Savage. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I came to Blackcard about a month ago now. It's been 3.5 weeks, I would say, and it was a funny story actually. I was in Ontario. I used to live in Ontario. Blackcard University is in Winnipeg, so recently I did the drive. It was a 26-hour drive along the Trans-Canada Highway. That was a whole nother story I'll get into, but I was at this event in Ontario, and funny enough, before the event, I've always taken interest in business, right? My dad's been in business his whole life. Favorite movie growing up was The Wolf of Wall Street. Man, I love business. Like, I like the idea of making money. From the time I was young, my grandparent would ask us, my grandpa in specific, he would be like, what do you want to be? And he'd ask our whole family, ask all our siblings, and my cousin was like, oh, I want to be a pilot. My girl cousin would say she wanted to be a dancer, etc. When he'd ask me, I'd say, man, I want to make money. Like, that's what I want to do in life. I just want to make money. I don't know how. I know I want to make money, though, and that's what I'd always say. So, naturally, business, coming into it, business is about making money, moving money, helping other people make money, transacting deals, or creating, right? So that's where I took interest in business, and as I got older, the world started to expand, where I bought some mentorship programs. I found my specific niches. I tried a bunch of different things. I tried weightlifting accounts. I tried drop shipping. I tried other e-commerce sources to generate income, and just kind of took the entrepreneurship side of things, and always enjoyed creating my own stuff, creating my own content, because it felt good to me. It felt original. It felt authentic, as opposed to maybe going to school, getting a degree, and then settling into a job that I don't have control over, that I'm limited in, or that I may not like, right? So I took a few mentorship programs, one by Cardone, one by Jason Capital, and I kind of got into the real estate side of things. And naturally, in my Grant Cardone podcast, he would say all the time, go to seminars, man. Go to the seminars, pay the extra money for the tickets, for the higher end tickets, and rub legs with successful people. Meet as many people as you can at the seminars, because that is where you will build connections. That's how you're going to move yourself forward as an entrepreneur. Your network is your net worth, right? So I went out to this seminar. It was called the Wealth Hacker Conference. It was in Toronto, and it was in November, on November 9th, actually. And when I showed up at the seminar, my entire point of it was, one, to learn. I wanted to also see Grant Cardone. I look up to him a lot. He was going to be there. I was super excited. But the main point of it is I wanted to go, and I wanted to establish relationships. I wanted to see where I could bring myself, more so where the relationships that I developed at this seminar would bring me, right? And I had no idea I'd end up out here, actually, but I figured maybe I would be able to start doing some real estate stuff, get some deals done, because that's where I was wanting to go. And when I was at this seminar, it was lunchtime. We all went out to take a break, and I was waiting in the coffee line, and this guy, Ian Strucker, I was standing in the coffee line, and there was like a huge crowd of people. The line was huge, and he was just kind of in the middle of everyone. And he was like, he asked about 3 or 4 times. He's like, where's the line, or is this the line? And nobody replied to him, right? And I'm watching this guy, and he's like, where's the line? Is this the line? And then I was the one who was like, yeah, man, like come here, jump in. This is the line. And he came in right behind me, and I wasn't gonna say anything more to him, but he's like, hey, man, nice watch. I like your watch. I was wearing this watch here. Yeah. And I was like, oh, thanks. Like, where are you from? Blah blah blah. And we started talking, and one thing led to another. I think he was training somebody else at that seminar. You went with him out to Ontario, right? Yeah, you guys met somebody for a training.
There's another guy from Ottawa that was our first touch with him.
Yeah.
We got to meet him there. Yeah.
So I was there, and I was talking to Ian, and we got our coffee. It was out of coffee. We didn't get our coffees, which sucked. But then we started talking more and more, and Ian was also, this other guy came over, I guess, who you guys were meeting, training, prospecting with.
Yeah.
And the other guy, he kept trying to sell me shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just trying to have a conversation with Ian, right? Like, to find out more about what he does, where he's from, like, what actually is Blackcard University, what the hell are you talking about? Like, telling me all these things, I want to know more. And this other guy's just, like, trying to sell me on this, like, $30,000 coaching program.
Like the dude that Ian was training?
Yeah. I'm just, like I was just ignoring him, man. Like, it might have not been the nicest thing at the time, but I was not trying to buy it. Like, I was trying to have a conversation, right? Like, at least develop a relationship, or at least, like, indoctrinate me a little bit before you try to sell me on some crap, you know? So,
especially $30,000.
yeah, exactly. And this guy's like, I'm trying to talk to you, and this guy's rambling in my ear.
Especially something that doesn't have the rights to sell.
Yeah. Even weirder. Yeah. So yeah, we started talking, and eventually one point led to another. We were just talking about psychology and sales and how the human brain works, and like the target audience, and I don't know when it came up, but Ian's like, oh yeah, like I have a sales team out there, and we're actually looking to expand our sales team, and that's who this guy is. We're training him. He's gonna come and join our sales team soon. And I was like, oh, like, you're looking to expand your sales team. Well,
coincidence.
It's like, it's a funny coincidence, and it's your lucky day, because I'm looking for a sales job. Nice to meet you, right? And, like, I reintroduced myself again, like, Spencer Williams, blah, 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 told him about some of the things, and luckily, naturally, the conversation, we were talking about our thoughts, about what we want to do, and about the information we knew, so I got to kind of show my expertise in the field of business before I actually told him I wanted a job. Which was awesome, because when it came to me telling him that I wanted a job or was looking for one he already knew, I knew some stuff about sales. I knew what I was talking about. I wasn't just some random guy talking out of my ass, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, blah, blah, that went by. He's like, all right, cool, I'll follow you on Instagram. Make sure you, like, keep in contact with me. He probably thought I was never going to text him again, or I'd text him one time and not be that serious, fall off after he gave me some homework. But then I went back in the room, and we started watching some of the seminar again. And I was there with my friend Nick, and I was like, man, like, you think I blew that, bro? Like, you think I should have said more? Like, you think I should have been, like, more...
Overthinking?
Yeah, like, you think I should have been more pushy with them to, like, really secure the job? I was like, bro, like, that's something I want. Like, if I got that would be insane. Like, I've been, like, working my ass off. I've been taking mentorship programs. I've been trying to meet people. Like, if I could get that job, like, that would be crazy. And I was like, bro, I think I'm going to tell him that, like, if he's serious about expanding it, then I'll...
Hey, man, I've said it.
I was like, I think I'm going to tell him that if he's serious about expanding it, then I'll just move out tomorrow, right? So he was like, man, I don't know if you should say that. And I was like, I don't know, like, you might think I'm crazy or you might fucking love it, but like, regardless, I'm gonna go do it. So I walked back out, and I was looking for him, and I finally found him. I was like, hey Ian, come here, and then pulled him back aside, and I was like, man, like, how serious were you about expanding your sales team? And he was like, Spencer, I'm dead serious. And I was like, well, Ian, like, if you tell me I have the job today, I will literally drop everything I'm doing and come out tomorrow. I was like, I'll quit my job, I'll drop any responsibilities at home. I will literally drive out tomorrow if you tell me right now I have the job. I was like, I'm not joking. And he's like, he looked at me for a second. He's like, you know what? That is exactly the type of people we want to come work here. I was like, awesome. So anyways, the next day I followed up with him. I sent him a text. And luckily I said it because he said that's what he did. He was like, oh, I actually drove out from Ontario. Like, the next week they told me I had the job. I drove out right away. And I was like, I knew at that moment, I was like, I got in, bro. That was a good move. But so I followed up on the next day. He gave me homework, blah blah blah. And then I was like, man, how fast do people usually get the homework done when you give it to them before they come out here? He's like, oh, I don't know. Some people take a month. Some people will take like 3 to 6 months to get it done. Some people do it for a bit and just disappear. And I was like, bro, I'll have it done in a week. And I got that shit done. And then a couple weeks after that, I did some sales training on the phone. A week after that, he's like, man, I think you sound good. Come out. Next week after that, I was packing up and I was going.
So what were you thinking through this whole process?
Man,
Like,
I was
being told that you have the potential to have a job in a province 26 hours away from where you grew up.
Yeah.
Just what was going through your mind while you were doing the homework, while you were thinking about talking to your girlfriend about this stuff?
Yeah.
What did you tell your parents? Like,
man, my adrenaline was fucking pumping. Like, I was ready. Like, I've been ready for a couple months at this point. Like, I was doing training at home for nothing. I didn't even have a business job, and I was just training for the day it came to it, so I was ready. My adrenaline was going every day. Like, I'd wake up at 5:30 a.m. and I would read the books for an hour, and then I'd do sales training for half an hour, then I'd go to the gym, then I'd work, and then I'd come home and repeat that process again and go to bed. And I did that every day, and that's how I got the homework done, like, so fucking fast for him, and how I got out here so fast. But I was like, my family, my girlfriend, my friends, they knew that, like, there was no stopping me. They knew that, like, I was going, man. Like, I was just ecstatic. I didn't care how far it was. I didn't care where it was. I didn't care what sacrifices I had to make. I knew that I was taking steps in the right direction, and my adrenaline was going, man. I was motivated. I was pumped. I was excited. I was like, I don't know what to expect, but I love none. Like, I don't know. Like, I couldn't even explain it, man. It was crazy. It was actually insane. Like,
so how old were you when you first had your mindset shifted into entrepreneurialism? Like, what point in your life where you said, okay, like, I can't work for somebody else, this is what I want, I know what I gotta do?
Yeah, I think it was when I was 18, man. Like, I was at school, I was at a school, and I would tell my teacher all the time, I got in, like, a decent amount of trouble at high school. I had ADHD, I played on the football team, I was pretty, like, high energy, aggressive, blah, 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 so I got in some trouble, but I would also talk about, like, making money, and I'd tell my teachers and stuff, like, you can make money doing anything. Like, you don't need to go one route. Like, I was like, look at how many people got famous from just, they designed a t-shirt, and they put out the brand, and now they're rich as hell, and all they did was make a t-shirt with a logo on it. Like, it's that simple. Like, I was like, obviously it's not just that simple, there's layers to it, but I was like, I could make a t-shirt tomorrow, put a logo on it, and start making money off of it, My teacher would be like, please never sell t-shirts. Please never start a company. Please, like, make sure you do that. And I was like, no, I'm serious. Like, why do you think I'm lying? Like, you can do this stuff. And they're like, please don't ever do that. But anyway, so that's kind of when it shifted. And I was just like, what the hell? These, like, people don't know what they're talking about. And that's when, naturally, I also wanted to prove them wrong. It was kind of like a fuck you type of thing. Like, I'm going to do it. And you can't tell me that I can't, or you can't tell me that I'm not able to do it, because it's possible. Many people have done it. Like, why wouldn't you be able to repeat it,
Yeah. I think a lot of my experiences are kind of similar in that sense, but it wasn't against the teachers. Like, in high school, I was kind of like the black sheep. I had long hair.
Yeah.
I was, like, partially gothic and whatnot, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know, around the end of high school, I always kind of envisioned myself kind of surprising my schoolmates in a way, like, coming out of school. Like, I straight up cut my hair right out of high school. People didn't recognize me the year after, and then I was the first one to start working up my job. I was the first one to buy a car out of most of my friends, and I was just like, I'm not even really putting much effort into this.
Yeah.
I was never really good at school, and all I'm doing is just my best when I get to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's where I was like, I can be as much as I want to be.
Yeah,
That's
it's
when
true.
I started
It's-
thinking that. It was kind of in school
Yeah.
too.
And it's true when people say that you are your own barrier. It's you will take yourself how far you allow yourself to think, right? And that's why people like Grant Cardone, all these famous people, they're like, man, when you're young, fucking think big, bro. Because if you're not thinking big, you're never gonna go anywhere. And then you're gonna get to 40 years old and realize you could have done more, you could have thought bigger. But then at that point, it may or may not be too late, or you may wish that you started thinking bigger earlier. You know, and
Even when you're like 40 years old, you have 40 years of conditional thinking that
Yeah.
you have to undo.
exactly. And when you're young, the brain is still developing. You can establish habits. You can establish your thinking patterns. You can change neural pathways, and you can begin to better yourself and make that something you like. You know, instead of just struggling with it the rest of your life. So, but no, that's my story. And then coming out here, man, I have big goals. I have targets, but then every time I set a goal, I just try to like multiply it by 10. Like Grant Cardone said, I don't want to ever make my goals something I'm comfortable with, something I feel is attainable, because I may start to settle down. I always want to be a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit like I can't do this.
Mhm.
So then constantly I'm like, I want to do this, so like I feel like I can't, or people are like, that's unreasonable, you won't be able to get it. But then I can always push and prove them wrong, and always push and like surprise people, or even myself, right? And always being uncomfortable, always kind of eating that shit and being good with it is a hard way to live, but it's a good way to live. And
Outside your comfort
Not
zone.
only that, but
Yeah.
at a certain point, you start to actually enjoy the pros, like the pain of it, right? David Goggins has a saying about when he breaks his feet during his ultra marathons and stuff like that. He's like, "Fuck that! It's my pain. I earned it. I'm gonna enjoy it."
yeah,
So like, just getting comfortable with the discomfort.
exactly. And it's also about long-term thinking. If you can see that pain in the short term, if it's a good type of pain, that you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, is going to lead you somewhere better than where you were before. Always, man.
Well, you joining us?
Yeah.
Hit the bell.
Let's raise some money, boys.
Closing deals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We're started, man.
We should
Oh shit.
we should just move this back and bring a chair.
Yeah, let's slide this sideways. Pull this
Well,
guy.
let's get up there. Except that I can't see myself. Where am I?
Yeah, you gotta leave
Sit on the
forward.
chair, yeah. Sit on the chair and lean forward.
But no, so like with the short term thing, it's about finding comfort and seeing the long term benefit, right? Short term, it's gonna suck to be in the pain, but if you can understand that if you can push through the pain, because the result at the end is a lot better, you learn that pain, you associate it with good feelings, because you see the end picture. You say if I put myself in pain today, then tomorrow I will be better, and then you learn to enjoy pain because you know what the end result's gonna be, right? It's changing your thinking from today I'm gonna be in pain, instead of thinking today I'm in pain, you think tomorrow I'm going to be better, and then you enjoy the pain that's today because you see what's on the other side, right? So you associate pain with good feelings instead of negative feelings. So back to your question, and as for my story and my goals, I mean, my lifelong goals, I want to help young entrepreneurs think more like I have, more like a lot of you guys are thinking, and more like some of the more successful people in the world are thinking, and let them allow themselves to think that you don't have to follow the traditional route. You don't have to listen to your parents. You should create your own path. You should find out what your passion is. You should find out what is meaningful to you and pursue that and move forward with that, because at the end of the day, whether you win, whether you fail, you are going to live a much more fulfilled life knowing that you are dying rich, successful, and happy because you accomplished your dreams, or you are dying knowing that you tried your whole fucking life to accomplish those passions or find it. No matter what, you're going to be a lot more fulfilled than if you put that aside and just go where everybody wants you to go. So that's one of them. Real estate's a huge one. I want to raise a lot of money in real estate and have a lot of real estate, and then be able to give that knowledge back to people, be able to help them do that. And a lot of the time, I want a lot of money in my life, don't get me wrong, but I also want to be able to give back to the world, right? So those are more long-term goals. As for short term, right now, the next 6 months, man, I'm dedicating straight to sales. I am new to sales. I'm new to this job, obviously. Just got here a couple weeks ago. Next 6 months, man, I want to dedicate straight to sales. and don't even think about the real estate side of things. Don't even think I need to master sales. In my opinion, sales is the fundamental building block to any business in life. If you own a business, you're not making money unless your business is selling something somewhere. You need to understand sales to run that race. So the next 6 months, man, straight sales. After that, maybe start looking at some real estate. Buy into our bronze program. Get my first deal done with a coach and see what happens. See what I can learn. And that's like the next 12 months is 6 months sales. Next 6 months after that, try to get one real estate done, while also keeping up at the same pace the sales that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's my story. That's how I got here. That's what I want in life, man. $100 million assets under management, private planes, seminars around the world, giving back, teaching people, revolutionize the education system. But then I have incremental goals to help me reach that. But that's me,
Do you
man.
want to introduce the two new people in the room
Yeah.
to the podcast?
Yeah, so Damon Woodward, our closing beast,
In the flesh.
senior strategist here.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Andy Sheridan, Jay
Mitch walked in.
Frankfurt, Mitch Bowe. Oh yeah, looking sharp. The Savage, man.
Yep.
Got them to turn up the blender.
See,
Yeah, it was
so Spencer, I like your story, and my story is very similar in one way. But one main difference was that instead of tackling the sales skill first, I went ahead and I didn't really have much opportunity for it at the time. But yeah, I went into the real estate side rather than the sales side first.
Okay, and
So-
where did you live before? Like, where
It
did
was
you
in
get your first
Alberta,
deal? Yeah,
right?
so Alberta.
So-
I'm from Ontario. Alberta.
Yeah.
You got your first real estate deal done in Alberta?
Yeah, I'll get to that. But what I was saying is that we've got a very similar startup kind
Yeah.
of story, even going through school, telling teachers to fuck off and
Yeah.
saying I'm going to do it my way kind of thing, and just giving off that attitude,
Yeah.
high energy, all that. But
Well,
the
I
main thing
never
was
told
rather
teacher to
than
fuck off. I was just like, more of an
Metaphor.
Sounds like
advisor,
Andy
right?
did.
metaphorically.
But yeah, okay, so you told teachers to fuck off, yeah.
Well, yeah, but the point is, rather than tackling it and submersing myself in sales, like, maybe that's not such a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think, just saying, 6 months I'm going to master the skill. I was more so, romanticized with, oh, let's go, I want to do my own thing and get out of the job world and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I was trying to run my, my own little thing. Whereas, yeah, it probably would have been a better idea to flip it. But you know what? Just because it's reversed doesn't necessarily put me behind any. But it is nice to have that sales background, like you're mentioning. So that's the main drive, pull that brought me here from Alberta was, man, I'm missing some sales skills, right? So I originally signed up for real estate coaching, went through, did some deals. It was all great. The only problem was, I definitely wasn't having the closing ratio that I should have had, right? I was going through learning, somewhat the hard way. Obviously, I had a coach that wasn't bad, but it was going through a lot of leads, whereas, I probably could have had a few deals. But
There's got to be a
some training,
blessing,
right?
Yeah, there's got to be a blessing here backwards where it's like you're not getting anything, then you get into sales and you're like, oh,
Oh,
if
yeah.
I would have done this,
Some
if I would have done
clicks.
this,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, no,
Yeah,
this
just
makes
clicks.
sense now.
20,
Yeah.
hindsight's 2020. Yeah.
Sales is
As soon as you ask
everything,
sales
man.
skills,
Like,
it
straight
changes
up,
everything.
literally everything,
Even for
especially
me.
in real estate.
Well,
Yeah,
and even if
100%
you're not
real estate.
selling, man, sales is just being good at talking to somebody at the same. Even if you're not selling something, you are an effective speaker.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Oh,
with
it's
that?
just better at like creating relationships,
Yeah.
interacting with the world around you, right?
100%,
So-
especially dealing with investors. We'll get to that at some point probably. But.
Yeah.
So for the
100%.
people who don't know, what type of things are you trying to close in real estate? What were you missing in closing?
Yeah, so I'd set up a little shop. I was doing wholesaling, right?
Yeah.
So I had a good little marketing machine. I was getting like quite a few leads, which I was working with Bryce. Bryce helped me set that up, and I was starting to refine that. And I had a fairly good system where a lot of leads were coming my way, and all I had to do was connect that lead with the investor who wanted to buy it. Right, pretty straightforward, not too hard. But the main thing was, I just wasn't. I had some negotiation skills, but I still had to further that, and just the sales skills to get out in front of people and not be, timid, not reserved, not closing myself in, just going out, asking for what you need, and trying to get it, right? At the end of the day, even if you're not as persuasive as you can be, there's still going to be a lot of people who are technically laydowns who are going to do business with you.
Mhm.
But I was still missing that getting out in front of people and being bold and just asking for what you want, right? That's like a major thing that I was missing. It wasn't really, I wasn't trained up like that in anywhere before that. So yeah, having that opportunity to come out here was a pretty big game changer for me.
Oh, yeah.
And even coming out here, I was almost reserved to the point where I didn't want to, I was like, maybe not, maybe it's not for me kind of thing. And so I wasn't like a 2-week close like yourself. It took me a little bit longer, mostly because I was, justifying it in my own head why I didn't need to be out there. But, eventually I was like convinced myself, I worked through the problems. I said, this is really what I need. I need the extra sales skills, further develop myself. Everything else that was going on at the point, it's like I can be doing this when I'm 20 or I can be doing this when I'm 40, 50, or 80, and it's still going to get the same results. But the sales skills, if I wait until I'm 80, there's no way I'm going to get those skills. I might as well do it when I'm 20, eat some shit now, right? Do whatever it takes, right? Drive across a couple provinces, do all that stuff, and you don't have a wife holding you back, you don't got kids, you don't got whatever, you don't got all that conditioning like you were mentioning, 40 years of conditioning. It's like, hit that sales skills, because sales is that one skill that, as a profession, it's a job, and it's also, as a job, it's the only skill that you can take into literally transferable into everyday life.
So say you were still Andy back wholesaling in Alberta. What would this Andy now, after how long did you work here?
A year.
A year. So what would this Andy now, a year into sales, killing it, 18 grand last month.
Yeah. So
killing it, obviously. And what would the Andy now tell the Andy a year ago who's still trying to wholesale, who doesn't have the skills? What's the main lessons that you've learned now?
Main differences between now and then, just opening up, being more transparent, open, extroverted, right? Opening up that way, and essentially asking for what you need, asking for what you want, and being persistent.
How to ask.
Not being
how to
scared.
ask and how to be persistent rather than gatekeeping your own leads and your own potential sales.
Yeah.
Right?
Knowing how to navigate the conversations effectively is huge too.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that changes your perspective on everything with real estate. Having done it before, knowing how to navigate conversations and doing it afterward, the entire thing is completely different.
100% different.
100%. And as far as goals and what it was that I wanted to achieve, I was probably in similar age, probably like 18, when I started like actually looking into it and saying, hey man, I got to increase my financial literacy, because like I said, the things that I was doing at 18 to 20, I could have done them at that stage, or I could have done them 40 years later, and I would have been plateaued, I would have been at the same level, I wouldn't have been getting myself any further ahead, right? So I was like, in a job, I maxed out to where I could have been in like 2 years, as far as my skills went and all that. Probably I could have got some more skills, but as far as like my impact and all that went, I wasn't feeling fulfilled, right? So having that made it click into, hey, I need to learn some financial literacy, I need to learn investing, and whatever it takes to actually start taking care of myself, right?
Yeah.
So the investing, I wasn't all like jumping up and down about sales, but I knew I needed some investing and some business acumen, right?
Yeah.
So I started learning and researching and all that, doing that self-development. And obviously that led towards real estate, right? And I was like, hey man, everybody's playing the real estate game. You're either paying rent or you're collecting it. It's like, fuck man, I better smarten up and know how to do some transactions, right? So that's what kind of got me into it.
You guys are at a huge advantage for like starting as young as you did. Even at 33 for myself, like, ask me 6 months ago and I would have thought I knew a lot, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you come here and then I'm starting my sales. I'm like, wow, this goes deeper than what you think it does. It's not just reading a script.
No.
Like, it's so much more than just reading a piece of paper.
Oh yeah.
When you think of telesalesman or whatever, it's not. It's so much more than that. It's like it's psychology. It's
100%.
strategy.
Human nature.
It's human nature.
Human nature.
Everything. So there's so much more to it. You guys we're gonna have, when you're 40, you're gonna have that 20 years of conditioning.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's going to be the right way.
yeah, you guys are going to be way higher than where I'm at when I'm 40 because you have that advantage. It's a great thing.
Jay's got about 7. He's got about 7 years of position.
Working my way there.
Yeah, so that's kind of what brought me here, right? I was doing real estate deals. I wasn't, I knew my success rate could go up, and I was like, man, this is, if I want to really skill up and stop like joking around and just being, saying that I want something but not actually pursuing it. So I said, you know what, I'm going to drop it. I'm going to drive over to Winnipeg, even though I don't necessarily see myself I was like What's
So
in Winnipeg?
unappealing.
Yeah,
Why?
it's
Why?
like, right? So
Why?
I said, you know what?
Baby. It's the money.
Oh, yeah.
The money's here.
Exactly. So I was like, well, even if it wasn't for the cash, I'm sure I could be making money elsewhere. But the thing is, the long-term skills, that's what brought me here, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I'll eat shit for a year, and I'll do whatever it takes, but I need a environment and somewhere I can, like a sandbox to play in, where I can learn these skills and get paid at the same time, and it's like somewhat of a safety net, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to go out there as an entrepreneur and try to go do deals and make money, and then it's also, that's a lot of those guys crash because they got zero experience, they don't know what they're doing, and they don't have a product to sell either necessarily. And even if they do, they're not managing their finances, right? So you come to a place like this, not only is it a great environment, not only is it great people, but it's the fact that you have a product to sell, you're trained how to sell it, and then it's just your job to get in there and start doing the actions, making the motions, right? Making
And
it
you're
happen.
not trying to learn sales selling some shitty fucking product that no one can actually use.
Oh, and it's
Actually get
100%.
results.
Yeah, this is something that I can get behind, that I can tell anybody who's, like, it's easy for me to qualify the person who this product is good for. This product is not good for, because if they're a piece of shit, they're lazy, and they're not going to do it, I'm not going to sell it to them,
Yeah.
right? But it's easy for me to say, if I get to know someone within 20 minutes, I can say, yes, you need this, and I can just push on that as hard as I can, because I know that it's something that they need, I know it's something
And
that
it's
works.
genuine. Yeah,
It works, I've done it, and I believe in it myself, right? And I'm still getting value from it as well. So I know if I sell somebody this, in 2 years from now, they're still going to see tons and tons of value continuing to come out of it, right? Just from the skills that they're learning themselves.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what the belief, what drives my belief is, it works for me, and other people need it as well, right? So other than, I'm still developing my skills, I still need to be able to get out there and open up more, and that's what I'm continually working on every day, right?
Mhm.
So that's why I'm glad I got here. It's kind of my story as to what brought me here. Grew up in Alberta, in the trades world, doing some farming, doing some welding, and it's a pretty small world when you think, hey man, welders make a lot of money, I should just be a welder, and it's like, I mean, for sure they were making money at the time. I knew guys making like $300,000 a year, but that's like capped, and you're destroying your body and all that stuff. So I was like, yeah, need to pick up the financial literacy skills. I knew that right off the hop. And the question was, how am I going to do this effectively without doing something that's going to screw up my life, or whatever the case is. So made the leap into real estate, made a little bit of a transition, and then I made the extra leap here, which it took Ian a few more. It was definitely like at least 2 months, maybe
There's a
2
couple
or 3
months
months
of like weekly calls.
between. Yeah, because he gave me a call like after I'd completed some deal. Stefan told him about me or something. He's like, hey, call this guy. He just got some success, because at that time they were looking for successful students in the program who were young and able to come here and work, right? So Stefan told him, hey, call this guy, see if he wants a job, right? Ian calls me up, sold me some journals, sold me some books and stuff, and then he's like, hey, we're looking for people. You would be qualified if you want to come out here, you want to do some script training, you want to come out here, you'd be qualified to work here. And I said, okay. And I was kind of like, not really interested, but like, it sounds cool, but it's like, maybe not for me, like, I don't know, maybe you got other guys, whatever, right? I was kind of believe myself. And then over time, I was like, kept pondering it, and he called me a few times. He's like, getting me through the training. I did like a few book reports and stuff. I was slow because I fucking hate book reports. I used to, in school, I just like pick books that there's a movie out about it. I just watched the movie and do a report on the movie. But Stefan hasn't shot any movies on his books, so I was like, I literally had to like learn how to do a book report.
Yeah.
After like being out of high school and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, getting through language arts like English.
I knew. I was motivated, man. I hate them as well, but I was like, I'm getting out
Man,
there.
I pop mine out like fast. So
Yeah.
I kind of know the concept. I was like,
That's what I mean.
done.
I was like in and out of that
Yeah.
in like a week.
It was bad for me. Man, getting through grade 12 English, like language arts or whatever you guys call it, I literally did it by correspondence, which is the stupidest idea ever, because I'm like, I don't want to do it. And then like the last all of a sudden they're posting these like, this is the grad list, this is the non-grad list, and I see myself in the non-grad list. I'm like, fuck. So I started I think there was like 10 modules, and I just went up to like the smartest chicks in the class, and I was like, I'll pay $200 to do one of these modules for me. And so I literally just hired out the whole fucking curriculum. And then just like boom, all of a sudden I was on the grad list.
That's how you got into business.
That's an
100%. And then I dumped a lot of money into getting through like graduating or whatever.
Yeah.
And
I didn't even think of
Just
that.
to get a piece of paper.
That does do nothing in the real world.
Pretty much nothing.
Yeah. But I didn't want to being a ghost, or I was like, what, let's just get this over with. I can say I graduated, and that's it, right? So
It's funny how like every time somebody gets a new job, it's something we celebrate and it's something like we glorify. It's a great thing, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, everything that kind of like I'm gonna go out and assume here, but based on your stories, it's pain that brought us all here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We all had something and needed more. Ultimately, for me, it was pain that brought me here. You needed more. You needed more.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously hemmed and hawed, but there was something that said, "Okay, I'm doing this."
Yeah, and I knew I just didn't want to keep repeating the cycle, because I go through, like, people go through phases, right? But I go through them like 10 times as fast, and I'm just like, okay, I'm tired of that shit. I don't want that anymore, right? So it's like small town mentality and all that kind of fun job, and you're going out and being alcoholic and stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm done with this. I'm not gonna do this. I don't want to do this when I'm any older than I am right now. So it's like, I gotta start changing right now.
Damon,
Right.
what were some of your pains?
Oh my god, dude. You want me to start like story time?
And go.
Yeah, well, the short answer is
You
that
got a few hours?
same thing. Short answer is that I just knew that I was nowhere near my potential.
Yeah.
Basically, like nowhere near it at all. So that was like my main pain. Is I was fairly comfortable because I was making lots of money in trades, and it's like you make $100K a year or something. The only problem is everybody that's there that are getting a little bit older are all like divorced and like depressed and shit. They're all like
There's no fulfillment.
There's no fulfillment at all. They just do the same year every year.
Yeah, that's true.
Same thing trades. There's a lot of stuff that led up to that or whatever, but that was like my main pain point. Is I was like, I don't want to be this motherfucker sitting here.
Yeah.
Like there was just a room because every day we had breaks and
like this on
it's
screens.
full, like a huge room full of people, all old millwrights, all broken, all miserable. They all have their own little segregated sections and cliques when everybody's just miserable and just gossiping and they're just so mad all the time.
When you saw your future and you were like, if I stay here for 20 years, this is gonna be my life, man.
Yeah. Wonder
What were some of
what
your
was that other
pains?
stand? I'm gonna
It's underneath there.
set that.
All right.
Did you guys all tell your stories already?
No, just those two.
That's here nowadays.
We're gonna have like a 4-hour podcast here.
Yeah, everybody tell their stories though. It's good, man. I don't even know everybody's story, man. I'm curious.
Devin, why don't you give us a briefing on what brought you here?
Same thing, skills, trying to achieve potential. I started in real estate coaching in 2017, so a couple years prior.
Yeah.
And was missing out on an opportunity, not achieving as much as I could be in that, just because I didn't have the skills when it came to sales, communication, negotiation, understanding of human nature. So it was. I was doing it for a little while, like a year and a half with real estate, and then I got a call from Ian saying that they're looking for more salespeople here, and that I was qualified, so I immediately jumped on it. I knew that I wanted to be closer to the community since I started with real estate, and had actually wanted to work with Stefan for quite a while.
Yeah.
So as soon as I had the opportunity, jumped in on it because I knew I needed to increase the skills with sales and negotiation.
What was your pain?
Human nature. Just not hitting the potential that I knew I could achieve. Didn't have the skills of the environment to effectively grow towards that potential. And I knew that this environment would help me to do that.
Little guidance.
Yeah. And just being around people that were doing what I wanted to do, surrounding myself with people that I wanted to be like, rather than being surrounded by people that I
And that's
didn't
so
want to be
important. Like you can't keep that fire inside you, like by yourself. You can't keep it hot by yourself.
Not at all. And so that was really the big thing, is like having the community, having the network.
Computer's dying.
Oh shit. Okay, I'll go fix that.
Hopefully it doesn't die.
Yeah,
He's gonna cut off Mitch in his story time.
That's okay.
Somebody hold this
We
down.
got
There you go, Mitch.
many more sessions that we can have.
What tightens this? This?
Jane Mitch.
Oh, yeah, it's this one.
The chain Mitch.
Are we gone? Are we live on here?
Yeah, he's live.
What's up, guys? Can't read your comments, but
Mitch loves the live stuff. Right? He just
I
gets
do.
it.
Hey. Yeah,
Do you have a plug over here or what?
Cool story, bro.
it should be.
Something somewhere. Probably not over there. I think it's over by that light. Which might be too
Yeah,
far.
it's way too far.
That's just it. Podcast is ending.
We're gonna have to reposition
It's
this
just
thing.
next week.
All the other guys do it. Continue.
End the podcast and we just continue off with some of our phones here.
Yeah, dude. I'm not going live on story.